3, 2. Hello, everybody.
GeekWatch Incarnations. All SNL Superman actors, appearances, and interesting trivia. Before we start, don't forget to click like, hit the notification bell, click share, write a comment, and please subscribe. You can follow GeekWatch on most major social network platforms. Now, let's begin. Quick comic history. Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster created Superman. He first appeared on the cover of Action Comics #1 published in April 1938. The following are the SNL actors who dressed up as Superman in their comedy sketches.
Can you do it, sweetheart? I'm putting the nachos in the oven.
Okay.
The 6'2" American actor and comedian Bill Murray appeared as Superman in a big DC Marvel crossover sketch comedy in a popular late-night show. 1979. A 28-year-old Bill Murray slipped into the blues and reds of the Man of Steel in Season 4 Episode 15 of Saturday Night Live. That night's host was Margot Kidder, the Lois Lane to Chris Reeves' Superman. In the sketch, Superhero Party, we see the married Superman and Lois, played by Kidder, host an event attended by high-profile superheroes. Lois and all the people around are still oblivious that Superman is Clark Kent. The sketch ends with Superman exposing his identity because he was distraught by the news he learned about Lois. Bill Murray has an acting career that spans 6 decades, and we know him as Dr. Venkman in the Ghostbuster series of films, as Bosley in the 2000 Charlie's Angels movie, and he'll be appearing as Lord Kriller in the MCU film Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh, much obliged, Superman. Sheesh, I don't know what we'd do without you.
The 5 feet 11 inches Canadian-American actor, comedian, screenwriter, and graphic designer, Phil Hartman is another SNL alum who dressed up as Superman in a comedy sketch. 1986. On Season 12 Episode 4 of SNL, 38-years-old Hartman wore the supersuit of Superman in a comedy sketch, Krypton Survives. The premise of the sketch follows Superman's origin. Baby Kal-El was launched through space to avoid their planet's destruction by his scientist father Jor-El, played by that night's SNL host, Sam Kinison. But due to some miscalculation on Jor-El's part, Krypton was not destroyed. They have rocketed their baby to Earth for nothing. Kal-El, now all grown up and became Superman, received a call from his father, now feeling dismayed that he was separated from his family due to a lousy computation on Jor-El's part. His father continues making wrong calculations when he says that Superman can stop a meteor that was headed for Metropolis, but in fact destroyed the city of Paris. Phil Hartman was a regular on Saturday Night Live for 8 seasons, a total of 155 episodes.
That's right. Sorry to spoil the party, gentlemen.
The 6 feet 4 inches American comedy actor Kevin Nealon is another Saturday Night Live cast member who became Superman in one of their sketches. 1991. In Season 17 Episode 7 of SNL, Kevin Nealon, 38 years old when the episode aired, wore the supersuit in a young Superboy sketch. The sketch focused on young Superboy played by Macaulay Culkin, the SNL host for the episode. The boy superhero is not being taken seriously because people find him very cute. Criminals just gushed over young Superboy even when the kid hero threatened them with jail time. Enter Nealon's Superman, who also plans to bring the criminal elements to justice. Young Superboy reiterates that he was to bring the evildoers in. This amused Superman, Luthor, and his thugs because they can't get enough of how adorable the little super guy is. One of the thugs then asked Superman if he was this cute when he was younger, to which he replied, "No, he was kinda heavy as a kid, because he has such a big S." The bad guys eventually agreed to be captured but requested Superman if he can take a picture of them with the lovable tiny do-gooder. Nealon was in Saturday Night Live from 86 to 95 for a total of 174 episodes.
I'd like to go back to Krypton.
The 5 feet 11 inches American stand-up comedian and actor Jerry Seinfeld, who in real life is an enormous Superman fan, gets to be the character in a comedy sketch. 1992. 37 years old Jerry Seinfeld hosted episode 18 season 17 of Saturday Night Live, where he did a funny skit of Superman doing a radio interview. The interview appears very normal, but the topics are incredible, but Superman Seinfeld answers it in a nonchalant manner. When you get up in the morning, do you think of kryptonite? Does it bother you that you can't see through lead? Did you stop aging when? These are some of the questions asked of Superman. The interview ended just like any regular radio show. 2004. We get to see Seinfeld having mundane adventures with an animated Man of Steel in a couple of 5 minutes American Express film commercial. The title of the advertisement is, "A uniform used to mean something." And hindsight is 2020. The ad shows that Seinfeld and Superman are good friends.
Superman and Batman will slap you right back into the Fantastic Four. You ain't.
The 6 feet 5 inches American actor and wrestling superstar Dwayne Johnson wore the Superman suit a couple of times for television. 2000. 27 years old, Dwayne Johnson hosted Saturday Night Live's 15th episode of season 25. In the show, he did a comedy sketch where the setting is the Daily Planet office. Johnson in the sketch is Clark Kent, who is trying his best to hide his Superman secret. However, his office mates all know his secret and are having fun of the situation. 2016. 46 years old, Dwayne Johnson wore again the supersuit, this time introducing himself as the Samoan Superman when he hosted the MTV Movie Awards for that year. Co-hosting with him the event is the Dark Chocolate Knight, Kevin Hart. Dwayne Johnson has brought to life several memorable characters to the screen. 2001 to 2002. Matthias, the Scorpion King, who initially faced off with Rick O'Connell in the Mummy Returns movie. 2011 to 2019. Luke Hobbs. Johnson rode with the Fast and Furious family, and eventually get his own movie with Statham's Shaw. 2013. Roadblock. A fan favorite G.I. Joe character. 2014. Hercules, in a Hercules movie. The rare time you see The Rock sporting long hair. In 2022, he lent his voice to Superman's dog, Krypto the Superdog, in the animated film DC League of Super Pets.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like a villain.
In another movie, he breathed life into another DC Comics heavy hitter, the original champion of the Wizard Shazam, Black Adam. At the end of this film, Black Adam met face to face with the Man of Steel.
With this crystal, the mystery of my true identity will be revealed.
The 6 feet 3 inches Australian actor Hugh Jackman once traded his adamantium claws for a Kryptonian red cape. 2001. In season 27, episode 8 of SNL, 33-year-old Hugh Jackman was that evening's host. For that night's show, Jackman did a sketch comedy, in which he became Superman. The sketch borrowed aesthetics from the 1978 movie. The setup for the SNL skit sees Superman discovering the Fortress of Solitude. Here he was able to talk to his Kryptonian parents. However, the conversation quickly became awkward due to Superman's parents suspecting that he might be into an alternative lifestyle with his penchant for wearing bright tights and hanging with a teenage Jimmy Olsen. Jackman, of course, is not new to the world of superheroes. A year earlier he starred in the star-making role of Wolverine in the X-Men movie. He's been the feral mutant for several movies, and the 2024 Deadpool movie will be the 10th time he'll play James Logan Howlett, the Wolverine. 2004. Another notable Hugh Jackman character is the monster hunter Van Helsing. His Van Helsing was pitted against several popular Universal monsters. Later in the film, Jackman's Van Helsing became a werewolf. making this once Superman into a Wolfman. The 5 feet 9 inches American comedy actor Will Forte donned the Superman suit briefly for SNL. 2010. Ashton Kutcher is the night's host for season 35 episode 14 of the late-night comedy show Saturday Night Live. It is the actor's 4th time hosting the show, and in his monologue that night he wanted to act mature compared to the last time he hosted. He doesn't want to appear as overly excitable as his younger self is, but that was proven difficult that night when he saw several awesome events happening in the studio. One of this said events is seeing Superman getting a daiquiri from an Imperial Stormtrooper bartender. This Superman is played by 39-years-old Will Forte. Forte's appearance as the Man of Tomorrow is brief and a set piece for Kutcher's monologue. The Man of Steel did nothing much, just drank his cocktail and shook hands with Mark Twain. Will Forte has appeared in many movies and TV shows and has embodied many characters. Forte's best remembered character is MacGruber, a parody of MacGyver. He originated this character in SNL, then eventually had his movie and TV series. That's it for now. If we missed anyone, please let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, leave a comment, and share the video. You can find GeekWatch in Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Then head out to our merch store, link is in the description below.